All right, all right. Hello, hello. Welcome everyone back to yet another happy hour show. We have with us Randy Hilarski. How are you doing, Randy?
Doing good, Cabana. Happy to be here today. It's a beautiful day.
Motley investor, freshly shaven, new haircut, got the Nardo comb look there. He's got the long hair up top, slicked up.
It's standard. It's standard. It's what I've always done.
And a sweet shirt, by the way.
Took the facial hair off. Thank you. Hex merch. Whoops, wrong way. Hexmerch.com. Got the trifecta going.
A late edition Hex Tangent. What's going on, my friend?
Hey, Cabana. Thank you for letting me join last minute.
No problem. No problem. So everybody's been here before, except our special guest today. I'd like to bring her on. I'm so excited to have her here. Korypto Stylist. How are you?
Hello. Oh, thanks. That's a really nice intro and welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, so it's been
it's
been really cool watching your content over on Discourse Syndicate, and we were just chatting in the green room. I was caught up with most of your streams now. I know that you have kind of given a quick background on kind of how you got into crypto and reaching out to various hexkins and understanding. I thought it was a really cool but short story. I was just hoping that you could kind of share that with us, and we'll get an introduction from you.
Okay, so well, first of all, thanks for having me on. I watched your show, and yours is one of the first shows that I watched when I was researching Hex, and I got into Hex because I sacrificed.
And you still got into Hex?
No. Yeah, I still got it.
Kidding.
And then I sacrificed for Pulse Chain. The friend of mine recommended it to me. He's like, you just got to do it. And I literally just did it blind. I was like, okay, here, how do you do it? I set up a MetaMask, how to do the whole Coinbase and transferring and, So I did that. And then I noticed that a lot of people who sacrificed for Pulse Chain, they sacrificed with Hex. And I didn't know what that was. And then so many people sacrifice with Hex, and I saw it so much. I'm like, this is something. So I started to look on YouTube. I looked on the internet, couldn't find that much. And I looked on YouTube, and there's so many videos. So I just started watching videos, and then realized, just came to the conclusion that I think this is something I should invest in. So I bought it. I went on hex.com and I bought it, figured out how to buy it. I actually talked to Wales. I contacted him. And so he was so kind, and he actually called me back, and he's like, yes, you should stake it and go on to hex.com and whatever. So I staked it. And then, I just haven't ever looked back. That's really how I got in. So.
And stayed in. And
I stayed in. I'm very much in. I mean, Pulse Chain launch is not a bad way to get into crypto. I missed out on the Hex like you guys who got in so early, but that's okay. I've been watching, and I know kind of all the philosophies and all the strategies that you guys all promote, like hold and dollar cost average. So wait for the dips, buy the dips. I'm like, buy the dips. I'm like practicing everything, and like in security. I'm finally getting like a separate computer, and, I have all the hard wallets and Trezors and all that. So, I'm just trying to do it all the right way so that I can just chill, and just wait for everything to happen. And I'm really excited for Pulse Chain to launch, super excited.
It should be.
Yes.
We all are too.
Yeah. Someone, I just watched his video today. Perhaps a little FOMO on the Pulse Chain launch there, but you said that on this stream before, and I thought it was just, you haven't backed away, and if anything, the excitement's just built up there, Randy. So that was a cool video. Anybody has yet to check it out.
I've said it in like 3 or 4 streams that we're gonna outdo Tron. Tron did 100x, 117x in a little over 90 days.
Wow!
If Tron can do it, a ghost chain. Mm-hmm. What is this thing gonna do? So 100x, telling you.
What was the market like back then, though? It might have been a primo time in terms of the timing.
It was 2017 September was when Tron launched. So
2017. Okay.
That was right before the end of the bull market. So that was
market vertical for alts sort of thing.
But Bitcoin was 7,500 when they did their ICO.
Mm.
So
okay.
Yeah, I'm just saying hello to
I still
everybody
agree.
in
I
chat.
still agree with you,
Go
though.
ahead,
By
Jim.
the way, I still agree. I still agree with you that Pulse is going to.
If it
tear
does
things.
50x,
90 days, maybe a couple extra months on it. What is better, really?
It's gonna be something in there.
So you're going to be
It'll
disappointed
hit
in a
100.
10x?
Yeah, I'll take a 10x out of the gate. That's fine too.
I'll be disappointed if it's less than 10x. Anything but above 10x is fine.
I think the only thing that would disappoint me about Pulse is if it actually, and I don't see this happening whatsoever, and I think Randy also said this, I cannot see it trading below the SAC price. But if it did that, I'd be very disappointed.
Same.
You'd also be a
same.
buyer.
Yes, heavily. I'm sorry,
So there
Crypto
you go.
Stylist, you were about to say something?
No, I was going to say that I think that most people would be disappointed with anything under 10x. I agree with you, Tangent. I think just from everything that I've heard and all the predictions, it should do. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but
And the number
that's
of
what
people
most
that want to get in who didn't get in. So like there's a massive buyer base.
a lot of people.
who want in, and who I know personally as well. Like as in,
Same.
I'm not just saying that generally. Anecdotally, I know at least like dozens of people who want in and did not sacrifice.
Now
Yeah,
you guys
this
are
is-
gonna jinx it. Now we're gonna launch lower than 10x.
So the only plausible way I could see that happen in Cabana would be if the whales who got a really high bonus that they're selling so that it might go below someone else's, a smaller fish's SAC price, as they maybe take their initial off the table or something like that. That would be the only way it could happen. But I agree, very unlikely, extremely unlikely.
And that would just be in the first few days, anyways.
Yes.
Yeah. I agree with Hexmonkey's sentiment. If a useless ICO like Tron can pump like that, imagine what Pulse Chain is going to do with a full system state copy and its own integrated ecosystem. That I agree there. And also a big factor here is the Pulse X SAC. So the amount that was sacked in there, the thinking is, okay, a lot of these people missed the Pulse Chain SAC. So a lot of that money is going to be switched over to Pulse, which there's a huge amount of bid support there that, again, would contribute to my thinking of I cannot see us going below SAC price. But
yeah, I had dinner the other night with my buddy that's an ETH whale, and we went through the whole Pulse Chain thing, explained to him, and his strategy is going to be he's going to sell most of his copies of his PRC20s for Pulse. Now, multiply that times thousands of people who could possibly be doing that.
And that's a unique dynamic, right? So you have all these coins, and it's like, oh, well, we want the chain to grow adoption, and to do that, we'd have, ideally a bunch of different coins traded on there. But if they're all selling them for Pulse, and they get a pump out of that, they're going to want to hold that first of all, hopefully. But yeah, it's
and they don't have to buy the Pulse. They're just trading free tokens that they
free tokens.
Swapping tokens. Yeah, what a my God, dude.
Is it possible that only moves the price relative to all of those ERCs and not against dollars or something like that? Because I guess it takes up supply. Doesn't it?
Taking the supply off the market.
It takes up supply, so it's strange. I guess that's one of the things that is new. That is
never been done before.
That's one of the parts that's completely unpredictable.
Yeah.
I think that what's going to be really instrumental in that really being a significant mover is how many people actually know that they have the PRC20s.
And how that stages out over time.
Who don't even know about Pulse Chain launch and about the system state copy. It's still not known enough. And so it's like we have to make sure that they know that they have this free set of coins on tokens on on another chain. So I think that's going to be really important. The more we communicate that, the more we can get participation and then the whole network effect.
Shout out to the silent one, Motley Investor over there. I wish I didn't have any Hex just so that I could experience Motley onboarding me.
Sounds a little weird, but all right. I'll take that as a compliment, I guess.
Thank you, Hex Monkey. I think.
I think, right? Yeah. I'll onboard you anyway, Hex Monkey, round 2.
Yeah.
It just got weird.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Just a note. I know that Richard, I think, was it T-Money Motley gave up his spot at the conference. I think it's in Florida, Miami, maybe.
Yeah, Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
his spot's supposedly going over to Richard. That comes around, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes from now. So once Richard starts to talk, we're going to cut right into that, so you don't have to go anywhere. Just FYI. So want to bring that to you live as it happens and keep the show going as well. I don't think it's going to be too long, really. I think it was going to be, I think maybe 20 minutes, 15 minutes.
It'd be cool. It'd be cool if you got to speak with Jordan Belfort, because I think that's one of the speakers that's been speaking most of the day today. So that'd be cool if they got to like speak together.
Yes. Yes. And
you guys recall how anti-crypto he was back in 2017?
Of course.
He didn't have bags back then. Now he does.
Yeah.
No, he does.
Mm-hmm. The man is a salesman in his heart. Doesn't really matter what the product is. He sees the trend.
Yes, you bet. We will cut right in. So yes, love you too, John Bishop. I don't know. I think Crypto Stylist might be the only sane one here, but we're all crazy. Then appreciate it.
Anybody who bought Hex right away. All the early Hex people we were nuts.
Well, there you go. Yeah. She made an informed, educated decision, and we were all the ones that just were like, "I'm in, let's go." So yeah.
Yeah, but I did not make an informed, educated decision to get into Pulse Chain launch. I just did it because someone told me to. So that was kind of reckless.
Well, it's funny, right? Because that actually works to your advantage. A lot of people have the knowledge, and then they never have the ability to pull the trigger, right? So that knowledge is just as useless if you can't take action on it. So it goes both ways. Like sometimes it's good to do your research, and then on the same token, it's good to be able to take the initiative. And sometimes you just got to take a chance, go with your gut, right?
And crypto can move so fast that sometimes by the time you've done your due diligence, it's taken off. So you've got to include that inside of your risk assessment. And sometimes doing your own research can actually be, depending on the scale of the investment. Obviously, if the investment scale is huge, then you do need to do it. But if it's a small amount, then sometimes it's better to just go in, because you can always dump it later if you do research and find out that it's not what you want.
Yeah. Yep. That's true.
Hey, shout out to DJ Cryptomatic also. I just wanted to give him a shout out for the Twitch raid, bringing the Twitch crew over here. Hexcat, yes, trying to turn Crypto Stylist into a degen. Let's not. But yeah, did want to bring this cool Richard Hart tweet up here. So we have, I guess, an ad truck down in Miami.
Oh, nice.
So,
oh, nice.
That's great.
Hey-o.
I love those trucks.
Oh, and gangster color scheme as well. How good is the Pulse X website? It is literally the best looking DeFi website.
It's so good.
It is so clean.
Nice. So. Yeah, we're getting experience with these events now. We're coming prepared with trucks and merch and things like that. What's up, Funding Jim? How you doing?
I think they have a booth down there in Miami right now with Pulse Chain, Pulse X, Hex, all that stuff. So
yeah, I did see.
Is that to troll on Maxis?
What's that?
Is that to troll on Bitcoin Maxis?
It's to spread the word. I mean, if you have some fun with Maxis along the way, why not? But I mean, it's just to continue to onboard and make sure people are aware of what's coming, right?
I think that latest video that they did with Richard really showed that they're losing relevance. People don't give a shit about them anymore.
Even the Bitcoin guys are just like, what the fuck did we just watch, right? Like, it's embarrassing. Like, they don't want to be associated with those guys anymore, and I don't blame them. Like, if I was new to the space and I saw that interview, I would instantly be drawn to Richard. It's very clear who actually. I mean, he was more prepared on their subject, let alone his own project. It's crazy.
I can't respect any guy who eats a banana on stream.
Yeah, that's rule number one. No phallic objects, eating phallic objects on stream. Come on.
To death. I mean, and not in a good way. Oh my God. So bad. It's like so stupid.
we may have been a little bit nicer if they didn't delete the videos, but now it's just a free for all.
80% of crypto users are living in their mom's basements. They love that shit, man.
Oh my god!
The meme.
That dude actually does live in his parents' basement. I'm not joking.
No way.
Which one?
I'm not joking.
The moderator or
joking.
Svetsky?
So the banana eating guy, the banana eating guy, I think his name's Q. He, like, if you listen to the stream afterwards, I don't know if you guys did it, but listening to the stream afterwards, they talk about the debate. I sort of suspected that they would.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of content on there where they're talking about the debate on the next stream. And he actually talks about how he actually does live in his parents' basement. Like,
okay.
And the neighbors like ask him, because he's like, oh, the neighbors think I'm a loser because I'm living like literally with my parents. And then when I tell them I'm in crypto, they're suddenly like, oh man, like, whoa, what, like crypto's sick. Like how much Bitcoin have you got? And then he goes on the whole spiel about how, which is true, that I've experienced this myself, that people think it's okay to ask how much crypto you have because it's, for some reason, they would never ask you how many dollars you've got in your bank account.
Right.
But they'll ask you how much crypto you have because for them, it's not the same thing. Like for them, it's not real money.
Exactly.
So it's not offensive to ask. And culturally here in Australia, you do not ask that shit. Like you don't ask people how much money they have.
Yeah. It's a US thing as well, like, not just Australia.
Yeah, not even income. Like you don't ask people how much they earn. You don't ask how much money they've got in the bank. None of that. So yeah.
I mean, I hope my kid lives with us forever, really. But, I mean, I guess look down upon it.
If you structure the house like have a granny flat sort of thing,
family
so
compound,
they've got their own privacy, their own spot.
What I want to bring up? Oh yeah, Motley. Would Motley consider not shaving until Hex makes a new all-time high? I will donate 100,000 Hex to any cause he suggests, and other Hexkins can join in. How about it?
Yes, 100%. I'll start today. You're gonna be very disappointed. I can't really grow that good of facial hair, but I hate being clean shaven. My wife will hate you, but
It's for a good cause.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah.
Also, it might only take less than a month. Like this might be the easiest challenge ever.
Well, you know what's funny too is we also have to preface it, right? Like, is that both Hex combined? Is that eHex and Hex in the future when Pulse Chain goes live? Like, we always forget that we will have two Hexes in the future. So it's just like, what is that? Is that Hex on Pulse Chain? Is that Hex on Ethereum? Is that both Hex combined? But yeah, I'm down for it. Whatever the terms are, doesn't matter.
Molly, did you just get married last weekend?
So I've actually been married for a year and a half, but we finally had the ceremony this past weekend. Okay. So that's what that was.
Congrats, man.
Congrats. Thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, it was fun. We had a good time. I was ready for it to be over though. It was so much freaking work. It was so much work.
It's not
grocery
for
buying.
Just remember that it wasn't for you. It was for her.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. It was funny. We just started, and she was like having anxiety because she hates being like the center of attention. She's like, I don't want to do this anymore. She's like, I wish we just went on like a Europe trip for like 3 months. I was like, well, too late now. You made a mistake of doing a wedding instead.
You guys could join us. We leave on our Euro trip in like 6 weeks. So
nice.
We'll be out there for 4 months.
Nice. Yeah, definitely on the books coming. Thanks, guys.
Hexanair Motley might be mixed up with Hex Orca. I don't know. Hex Orca's got a pretty strong beard game. Motley's
oh yeah, mine is far from.
He's not talking up his beard games.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Curious to see how that unfolds here.
Okay, cool.
I streamed with him last week, and his beard took up like the whole screen. It's big. It's really big. He's so cool. I really like him.
We'll have to
knowledgeable
We'll have to think of something really cool to do with those funds because I mean 100K Hex is a lot, especially pre-fork. It's gonna be crazy.
Also, if the bet is taking it up to all-time high, right? Then that 100,000 Hex at the time that it would need to be paid would be worth like 40 grand. Wait, is that right?
More like 400.
No, 100,000
and all-time highs or whatever.
Oh yeah, right, yeah.
It'd be 40 grand, wouldn't it? Is that right?
the other way around.
Yeah.
No, it'd be 50, right?
It'd be 56 grand, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
100,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, 56
Back,
grand.
I'm trying
back
to
at all
find it.
time. Oh yeah, yes.
Oh, I
yes,
see what
yes.
you're saying. Okay, yeah, 100,000 hex. All right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oy.
Well, we have to think of something cool to do with those funds. So.
Oh, Randy, were you calculating it as 100 grand in now, buying in grand? Yeah. Fair.
All right, he's all
Oh,
over.
people are getting around this.
Desmond, I'll send you the same wallet we did the NASCAR funds to. Sweet. All right, get my facial hair back.
There you go.
It's for a good cause.
What's up, Jim Rat? What's going on, buddy?
Hey, Jim
Yo,
Rat.
Jim Rat. I've been on so many of Jim Rat's streams. I
Me too.
love going on his streams. They're
I was
sick.
his first. He popped his
It's
cherry.
it's Hex in the
No way,
morning
we were
every
his first
morning, right?
guest.
Yeah, I was his first guest.
Yeah, 11
It's
a.m.
a
Eastern
stream
Standard Time.
of
Can I plug it? Go and subscribe to Jim Rat's channel. It's awesome. 11 a.m.
It's really
Eastern
good,
Standard
yeah.
Time.
And
Jim Rat is getting
Sam,
plugged
his
on.
Crypto
co-host.
Stylist has been on there as well. That's where we
Yes.
first met.
Yes, that's where we first met. And Sam is so smart. Who's on it? He's so smart.
Sam
then,
is a machine, yo.
He is. Well, they're both are. You know, it's a good dynamic because Jim Rat's like the student, and then he's like the mentor, and you just see them like the whole dynamic. So it's for beginners. You can feel like you can participate because you're like, oh, I can. You know, not everybody on here knows everything about crypto, and then you can get the knowledge from him. And for people who know a lot about crypto, you still learn. So because he's so smart. So it's kind of win-win.
Yeah, that's a good point. They've got that dynamic. So because Sam is his life coach and personal trainer, and then Jim Rat taught him about Hex and crypto. So they're like learning from each other. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, so it's
Exactly.
Yeah, it's been really fun.
And it gets a little bit raw.
Yeah, I mean that's the appeal of it too, right? It's like you have like a lot of structured streams, not really like ours, but some others out there. You have a good hold a dog video or a coffee cut, and then you have like Jim Raz, just like pure conversation, which I love those streams. They're just organic and they take their own direction. So
I literally just gave him dating advice like an hour ago on stream.
oh, so that tweet was not joking.
I wasn't joking.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to go over and watch that.
That juicy. I wanted to be juicier, but so.
Just an FYI for chat, I'm keeping an eye on this Richard Hart time thing. They keep pushing it back 20 minutes and then 20 minutes. So we might get the show in before he even talks. So
Sweet.
awesome.
Hexyquinn's asking where's Vince. What's going on with Vince?
I know, where is Vince?
I was actually just thinking that before.
Motley has him very busy. So
Yeah, he was at my wedding. I put him to work. He's still at work. He's making tindies in the basement right now.
Making titties in the basement?
Yep, I'll let him out eventually.
I think
He hasn't
he's
made enough yet.
calculating spreadsheets and pools and many
That's it.
other things. So I did want to put this out there. So he did give his blessing for the guy right below me to be co-host for a while he's gone. So Randy Hilarski, you'll be seeing a lot of him around the happy hours here in the coming weeks.
The next 6 weeks.
Blessed by Vince himself. So
Awesome.
so cool dude. Cool dude.
Did you guys see what CoinStats tried to do with me? They wanted me to be
Yeah, so what was the story behind that? Because I saw
they
you
sent me
post
an
a message.
email. They sent me an email with a list of people that are already representing them, and maybe saying that they're sponsored by CoinStats or that kind of stuff on their videos. And they asked me if I wanted to join the team, and I said, "You guys have been." Well, you saw my message. I said, "You guys are part of the gatekeeping problem with Hex. You guys don't even rate them. Why would I put my name on something that is totally against anything I believe in? Free speech, and then you guys want me to come join your team? It's like, you guys didn't research me. I guess you guys didn't check out who I was. What's that?
Did they reply?
Let me check. Where's my phone? I just thought it was really funny that they had the nerve.
You're probably right that they didn't actually do any research on you.
Okay, no, they didn't reply yet.
Maybe other than your subscriber count. What is your subscriber count?
Oh, just about to hit 5,000. It says, "Hey
Nice.
Randy, it's Rosie from CoinStats. I hope you're doing well. We've tried to reach out to you for a few times to offer you a partnership with us. At the moment, we're working with Max Mayer, who I don't know, Cameron Foose, Eddie Moon, with a revenue sharing model. I believe we can collaborate. What do you think?" Rosie, so yes, we're from CoinStats.
I have not heard of any of those names.
Either have I. And I'm like, who are you
Good
people?
for you, Shane.
And no, thank you. Nobody uses CoinStats.
I was gonna say, what is CoinStats? But anyway,
They're just another ranking website like CoinMarketCap.
I mean, they could vault ahead of everyone with a big user base if they listed things properly. Like they would be the only one. I mean, have you pitched that angle to them? Just be like,
No.
hey, you could be the first ever to do this, and you'd probably gain a lot of credibility and free promo.
Yeah,
From
I actually had their app on my phone for about 6 months because they're the only one that listed one of the projects I was involved in. And when they did the whole hex thing, not listing us properly, I deleted it.
Is Nomics still committed to listing all the PRC20s?
What's Nomics?
what?
Another cap,
Motley
another
knows.
cap ranking.
We all know what Nomics is.
I don't mention that name anymore. It's
Richard,
like Voldemort.
Richard said at one point that they had expressed verbal commitment to listing Pulse and all the PRC20s, and then but that was a while ago, and I haven't heard any updates since.
I haven't heard anything. I think I have Clay on mute, so I don't see him either. The founder.
It was funny because just recently he tweeted out to the Hex community. It's like, oh, what happened to the Hex audit? The one Gunther made and took down recently. And I was just like, oh, I guess you can't rely on the community data to change our market cap anymore. I guess we get to go back to number 3 or whatever we're at now.
Yeah. Or how about you do some work and
Yeah, right.
quit leeching off of a community? But anyway. Yeah. Well, Tangent, you brought up an interesting thing about exchanges there. So I know you guys discussed it a couple weeks ago on the Hex Late Show. So do you have any thoughts on the major exchange that will list Pulse Chain? I've heard anything from OKX. Crypto.com was popular last week. Jexa, I think, brought up Kraken on your guys' stream, but we'll throw it around the room. Any takes? Last week's consensus seemed to be Crypto.com, but any thought on that, Tangent?
Oh, because Crypto.com's already got it listed not on the exchange, but as a listed asset that you can fund the wallet with, right?
Yeah. Well, Coinbase has it listed in a way too, doesn't it? Though?
Oh, that's maybe maybe that's the one I'm thinking of. Maybe I'm thinking of Coinbase. I don't have a logical guess.
Well,
Motley, I don't think you were here last week. We'll get...
What? You talking to me?
Yeah.
Sorry, I was doing something. What's up?
So guess what exchange might list Pulse.
How funny would it be if it's actually Binance that does it?
Lol, that would make me lol so hard.
CoinMarketCap, Binance, that would be hilarious. I mean, they've trolled us a lot during this lawsuit, so like it would be pretty funny if they listed all the PRC20s. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. It's gonna be interesting. You said one of the largest, so
yeah, that's why Abra. I don't think it's hit BTC because they don't register as large in my mind.
no, not at all.
Yeah, and they still
So
got
a lot
tons
of
my money.
A lot of FTX love in chat. Randy, do you have a guess?
Yeah, I was thinking Kraken just because Richard's been around for so long. I think he knows the founders of Kraken, so it would be a logical choice. But my trader choice would probably KuCoin or something like that.
Oh, I would be so down with either of those options. I would be keen for Kraken or KuCoin.
Yeah, KuCoin's always listing coins. They don't have a problem with listing. So
good point.
I would say KuCoin.
I was
here for the
about
lulz.
to ask you a preference there.
Bro, if it is KuCoin, I'm going to be in heaven because KuCoin's got these trading bots that I use that I actually really enjoy using. They're really good. But so I've been emailing them over and over again, asking them to list Hex. I'm like, yo, if you list Hex, I will personally be the market maker. Like I promise I will make sure that there is enough, like whatever you need to not gift them the Hex, but like it would still be mine. You know what I mean? But in these, I'm like, I will fund those bots, bro, and they just don't even reply.
There's a way to become an LP on KuCoin, a liquidity provider,
like officially.
Yeah. Or
yeah, I think most exchanges have got that option, but some of them are very, very onerous. Like you have to commit contractually to certain requirements, and then if you fall outside of those, you know what I mean, you have to. So yeah, I didn't mean like formally. Although I guess if that had been a condition, if they had said we need you to like formally be the market maker or whatever, I'd maybe consider it. But I was just so keen to be able to use those bots; it would have been sick. But Pulse is as good.
I doubt that KuCoin's available in the US.
Really?
I doubt it.
I don't think it is. I think it's like Coinbase, Kraken, Crypto.com, Binance.us. There's the ones that come straight to mind. But yeah, funny. Jim had an interesting point. Richard beat up on Kraken when he slayed Peter McCormick. Probably not them. I mean,
did they see it though? We're probably good.
If Crypto.com or FTX would be awesome. Best fiat bridges, Binance, blah. Yeah. But,
yeah, FTX is pretty friendly towards listing new stuff, you know.
Yeah, I still use it. I use Blockfolio, which is now FTX on my phone. I've been using it for years.
It's just more traffic for them. I mean, Hexagons have proved that time and time again. Any business that represents them well, like we we flock to them. So
yeah,
it's a whole blockchain with a full system state. So it's like,
and that's what's hot right now too, right? Like all these new chains, the Solana and everyone, like that's what everyone wants. So like a new chain coming out, even if it's not talked about, bruh, that's what people are looking for. With the highest yield farming and liquidity providing and airdrop, it's gonna be massive.
Even I degenerated this week. I went and did some found a token that my Ethereum whale buddy told me about, and I'm not going to say the name on here because I don't want people going degen. But I'm making 150%, APY. It's nice.
It's good. It's good while it lasts.
Yeah, exactly. It might only be for a couple weeks, but hey, it's nice.
So guys, if Pulse comes out and it's not gate kept or not as gate kept, does that indicate to you that it was actually a discrimination against Hex specifically and not Richard Hart? Like, I don't get it. Like, I don't get why there would be such a high level of discrimination against Hex and then not Pulse Chain.
It's Richard. It's because they didn't like Richard.
Because if it's Richard, then you would expect Pulse would get gate kept as well, though.
Bro, we'll still get gate kept to some degree for sure.
I mean, I recall Richard saying that he thought it might have been the fact that the marketing of Hex was perceived by some to sound scammy, even though that was deliberate. Whereas Pulse Chain, the marketing was kept kept purely technical, not like anything to do with X's and prices and gains and mad gains, etc. But I guess we'll see, right? Like,
yeah, it's easier to understand. Even when I explain it to people, explaining Hex is a nightmare. Pulse is a fork of Ethereum, but faster and cheaper and proof of stake. Like, so it doesn't wreck the environment. People are like, oh, okay, it's like ETH but cheap, because Ethereum, especially right now, is so expensive to transact on it. So it's really, really easy to explain. And I think that some things transcend the bias against Richard Hart. So it's just such a big opportunity. And I think people are like, okay, I don't like him, but I'm still going to invest in this.
As an entrepreneur, this is the old story of you go in when you're new and you're a new business person, you sell something that's already on the market, that's already popular. You don't come out with something brand new that's super rare, super odd for everybody because they might not catch on right away. But if you use something that's already in the market, it's already selling, then you can build up your business. And I think that's what Pulse Chain's going to do.
People have struggled figuring out like where the yield came from with Hex. Like if they didn't do any research or it took us months and everything to understand T-shares and the inflation and everything. But like most people, like their default, if they don't look into it, they just default and just like, oh, well, it's a pyramid scam. More people need to come in for you to get your interest, and then they don't do any research beyond that. It's just like, no, it's like Hex will continue to pay you Hex indefinitely. It's just in the code. But people are lazy. They don't want to go and do their own research, so they just parrot what they hear from what all the general influencers are in the space, which a lot of them are just Richard Hart haters. Because I mean, they loved him back in the day when he was a Bitcoin maxi. He left, he turned, he found better solutions to the problem, and it's just such a toxic environment. They just eat their own, and ever since then, it's just he's going to be a scammer regardless of what he does.
I come to it from the viewpoint of this might be like the way for some of these exchanges to actually get into the ecosystem. So like they made their mistake with Hex and Pulse Chain. It could be like, okay, well this could be the first step, and be like, all right, we have this, and then later on down the line, oh, what happens? Hex appears, and it's kind of like,
oh yeah, you're so right, man. A way that they can save face. They can pretend that they know that they were wrong, but they can't just backflip on it and be like, okay, we're listing Hex, because everyone would lose their minds on both sides of this, the Hexicans and the haters. Not anti-haters, sorry, anti-Hexicans equals haters. And so this way they can be like, oh no, guys, it's a different product. Like, we're not listing Hex, like this is a different thing.
Yeah, and theoretically, like they could list Hex on down the line, but they could come at it by the angle of, hey, we have this, new Pulse Chain, blockchain listed on our exchange. They also have Hex. We're seeing high demand for Hex, so we're going to list it, because of Pulse Chain, what we already listed on the exchange, and play it that way. I think that would be a smart play if, they went that way. It's about their only play, I think. Reasonably.
And
you are all making really good points. Like everyone that just made points, they're all really good.
If Pulse, and when it's successful, as we all believe that it's going to be, then you can go to them, the people who invested in Pulse, and say, the guy who invented Pulse also invented this thing called Hex. Look into it. And then they'll trust it because they have success with one thing and they'll have success with the one that he did before. So it's another way to onboard people, is to have them have a good experience with with Pulse or Pulse X, and then say, okay, well, the guy who did that, Hex is his first project, and you onboard them that way.
Yeah, that's a great point, because, say if Pulse Chain does, do a FOMO Randy Hilarski 100X out of the gate, and then people are like, what is this? Wow. And then, just like you said, oh, well, this was founded by the same guy who, founded Hex. Oh, Hex is 50% off its all-time high right now, theoretically, at that point, or whatever. Might want to consider buying that, and it's just this whole, circle of assets that, the ecosystem opens up, from there. So it's really exciting.
All right, Motley, man.
Motley, I see you.
Yep.
Thank you for stopping by.
Yep. Wife was born on April Fool's, so gotta partake in the birthday festivities. Oh, real quick before I go, I want to give a little message to the haters. Let's see if I can do this.
Showing up on camera.
What's that? What's that? Look at those bad boys. Woo! All right,
they are sick.
Deuces. Oh, okay. Here you guys go. You see if I can. I should probably turn off the blur on this camera, but all right, there you go. There's the Hex one, and then the Pulse one. These things came out freaking awesome. They're like the Super Bowl rings of. They came out ridiculous, but they look so good. All right, cool. Peace.
Bye, Motley.
See you, man. Good to see you.
Later.
Those rings are iced out, bro.
Yeah, they're ridiculous.
So cool.
They keep pushing it back, so it's back another 15 minutes. So we might just very well get this show in. What else is on the list? Yeah, bring back Cody Willard. D'Artagnan, I don't know if you saw last week. I think I was chatting with Funding Jim about it. Want to get Cody back. I think he'd do a show just, him and I, with kind of like without a whole, panel kind of thing, just a conversation with him and I. So I am trying to get that in the works. He's pretty busy for the next couple of weeks, but I'm definitely trying to get him back on. It would be more of an overall crypto discussion, I'm thinking, at the beginning, and then of course we would cover or get into Hex and Pulse Chain after that, because I have to ask him about it. So, yeah. So yes, Randy is the OG of OGs. So yeah, but I guess go ahead.
Did you say we were going to talk about the debate a bit?
Yeah, let's do it. What say you, Tangent?
Because
I know you.
Can I kick off with one? Yeah, I like to defend Bitcoin. I still love Bitcoin.
That's why I was. Go ahead.
I saw a comment in the chat from Footsteps saying that I'm planning to debate Richard Hart. I did make this claim, and I'm willing to do it, but not straight away. I want about a month to prepare, and I will debate Richard Hart on Bitcoin, and Bitcoin and Hex, etc. But to try and actually bring a challenging opponent to him, being myself, because everyone that has stepped to him so far has been garbage, like absolute garbage. And every time I watch one of these debates, I'm like, man, I could do a like at least 10 times better than this minimum. And so I'm just gonna do it, like if he's willing to do it. And so
you would wreck yourself for the
community. I'm willing to get wrecked now. I'm willing to. So Jim Rat was saying, wouldn't it be funny if I just ended my digital life, like as in, like full Alex Saunders, no more YouTube channel, no more Twitter, just like cease to exist online. It's possible, but the thing is, the difference would be I wouldn't be coming at it saying outlandish shit that is incorrect, calling him a scammer and saying stuff like that. Like it would literally just be a discussion / me asking questions. So I can't really get wrecked, right?
Yeah, and
like,
dude, and don't make fun of the mad bods, bro. Don't do that. The dad bods, because
the only thing, the only thing that can result in is either me getting my mind changed on certain aspects of Bitcoin or something else. But I can't really get totally wrecked and like digital life ended. But anyway, I want to mention one thing that I noticed, and I haven't looked into the interview. I haven't gone and like in detail, but I did notice while that interview was going, you might recall Richard Hart said, if you like proof of work mining, then you must love nickel smelters, as an indication of like, if you like things that are high energy use. And the guy didn't realize that the rebuttal to that is that nickel smelters cannot be easily moved around to use stranded energy, whereas Bitcoin miners can. So Bitcoin miners can be moved near geothermal, moved near waterfalls, moved near gas flaring, etc., because you have a shipping container filled with Bitcoin miners. So it can chase down the cheapest energy, stranded energy, and monetize that energy that would have been wasted. Whereas a nickel smelter, you cannot do that. You can't just move it around to the nearest free energy source.
Well, I think I speak on behalf of the entire community saying I greatly look forward to this if it ever happens. So what are some other thoughts on the debate? I guess Crypto Stylist wanted to ask you kind of like this question from a, you're into fashion. I think you're a buyer. Is that correct?
Yes, I am.
But you understand the power of branding and whatnot. So, I mean, how terrible was it for a brand such as Bitcoin Magazine to have this happen to them? Like, is this self-wrecking? Because one, they had a moderator go against the guest, and then they pulled the stream, and then it's just an awful look. And then their community on top of that tells them that they lost and it was absolutely horrible. So it's like, from a branding side, it seems like an absolute nightmare. But yeah,
it's like the publicist's worst nightmare is dealing with that kind of situation, because there's not any really spin on it. And I think the only thing that the guy could have done for himself is not be an asshole. And he really crossed that line when he like insulted Richard, like his, personally, his weight. And and then Richard came back from it even harder when he was like, the guy said something about Jesus. He's like, oh, Jesus was skinny. I'm more like Santa Claus, and just like circle back on the insult, and just made fun of himself. And so he just like gave Richard the opportunity to make himself look awesome, and look like, so he didn't miss a beat when the guy insulted him. He just laughed. And he's like, really? That's what you got? And it's so desperate when you go there in an intellectual debate like this, where there's so much substantive issues that you can talk about and really go there and really question. He had to go he had to go to something like schoolyard jokes. You know,
Yeah.
it's just, to me was just it was actually kind of sad. I felt bad for them for the
Yeah,
Bitcoin.
that was weird. That was super weird when he attacked him personally like that, and it wasn't even a personal attack that's relevant at all.
So now it's not easy. Not only is he not smart, now he's an asshole. You know, I'm like, you just screwed yourself. You just put the nail in the coffin right there. You know.
Yep.
So,
But that wasn't his first time. That wasn't the first time he did it. Calling Richard Gart fat. When they did this, the scammer of the year last week with Tone Bays, he said the same thing when they were going through who was going to be the scammer of the year. He said, "Oh, Richard, because he's fat." What? I'm fat, motherfucker. I've been in Bitcoin longer than you.
It's irrelevant. It's completely irrelevant. Someone's weight is irrelevant to whether they're a scammer or not. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
And it's like at that point, once you go there, the debate kind of just ends. And to me, it like ended there because it was like their last, Hail Mary kind of thing. And it, Richard came back with the Santa comment and Svetsky laughed. Like he was like, yeah, it was pretty good. I was like, oh man.
But
hey,
the
Big
other
K.
thing I was saying about Richard, oh hi, Big K.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. I've never seen you before. It's nice to meet you.
Yes, nice to meet you too. Sorry, I'm a little late, everyone.
No, we're just talking about the debate. We're just talking about the great debate.
Oh,
And it's interesting. What did you think? Did you watch it?
yes. I mean, it was pretty painful towards the end. You're like, all right, this is really not going to get it. So, I don't know what to say. I thought it was good. I applaud Richard for constantly, working through, and still trying to educate people, even though it was obviously these dudes weren't listening, but maybe somebody was.
Hey, just wanted to put this out there. Richard is on, so like I said, we're gonna do a hard cut straight to that, and let's bring that
Go
up.
hard, go hard.
Go hard. Let me find it. Yeah.
While you pull that up, I was going to say Richard's. Here we go.
Richard Hart.
Hey everybody. Just to give you guys an idea. Give you guys an idea of the scale of what we're dealing with. Hex, when I invented it about 2.5 years ago, the price of Hex went up 10,000x in 623 days before staking profit. With staking, we would have been up 20,000x, 25,000x. And we've outperformed both Bitcoin and Ethereum from their launch dates when their performance was the best, when Satoshi owned all the coins. We're outperforming them massively still to this day, with 100% perfect flawless operation and uptime for years now. That was my first project, first time deposit on the blockchain, where you, instead of paying miners to destroy the environment by paying them block rewards, you pay the inflation to stakers to hold the price up instead of to cause the environment to get wrecked. 20% wrecked, 80% is renewable, but 20% is not. So that was Hex. And Hex was awesome. And then the fees in Ethereum kept going up and kept going up, kept going up. Now the fees in Ethereum are too high. Sometimes it costs $300, $1,000 to do a Uniswap swap. Sometimes it costs $20 to $50 to send an ERC20. It's not okay. And the only way to solve that is to build new capacity. So if you've got a finite resource and you've got demand and the price is too high, you can either increase the supply, which is what we're doing, or you can decrease demand, which no one's interested in decreasing the demand, right? So there's been a lot of Ethereum forks. The problem with all these forks is that they don't give you free coins. And they require everybody to use a bridge, and we see bridge getting hacked left and right. So the wormhole bridge on Solana got hacked for $300 million a couple of weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago. The another bridge for some NFT platform just got hacked yesterday or the day before for $600 million. And the Polygon bridge was at risk of losing some billions of dollars, except they discovered it before the hackers did. And so all those systems are not as intelligently designed as Pulse Chain. Because in Pulse Chain, because you're getting a copy of every single coin that you have on the Ethereum network on this chain, and to access those coins, you can access them right now as we speak and the testnet's been working fine for months. You just change one setting in your MetaMask. It points your MetaMask to the new network, and all your coins are already sitting there waiting for you. You just add them one by one. So, and then this reduces the reliance on these risky bridges, because you don't need to bridge from one network in. You can just use your native coins on the native network. It's more secure. It's also better designed than Ethereum 2.0. We've seen over $100 million lost from Ethereum 2.0, which doesn't even really exist yet, because it only incentivizes people to centralize. So in Ethereum 2.0, you can't become a miner unless you have 32 Ethereum, which costs about $100,000. If you don't have $100,000, you're going to give your keys to somebody else, and then they're going to lose your money, steal your money. And it's the exact opposite of why cryptocurrency was invented. Cryptocurrency was invented to remove counterparty risk, to put people in charge of their own financial future, to give people their own self-sovereignty, to make things more efficient, faster, cleaner. And so even Ethereum 2.0 isn't as well designed as Pulse Chain, and it doesn't run as on battle-tested, tried and true software where the bugs have already been ironed out over years. So Pulse Chain, I believe, will launch more secure than Ethereum 2.0, already has higher throughput with 3-second blocks instead of 13-second blocks. And you can raise the gas limits higher as well. And you don't blow up the environment because you're not paying for proof of work. It's all proof of stake. And you have delegated stake so that you can hold your own keys and delegate your stake to another validator and not have to worry about having 100 grand to participate in the network. It's a better designed system, a more intelligently designed system, and it works today. And you can go test it on testnet now. Go check the parameters out at pulsechain.com. And so what coins will you be getting free copies of? All of them, all the coins. You got Hex, you're going to get free copies of Hex. You got Ethereum, you're going to get free copies of Ethereum, but you're going to be diluted 1.2 million X. So unlike other forks like Bitcoin Cash, where people just murdered the price all day long by selling all their free coins all the time, we won't have that problem in Pulse Chain, because the Ethereum holders that are getting free Pulse are being diluted 1.2 million fold. The ERC20s aren't. So if you've got a Hex, you're getting a Hex, and there's no increase in supply. If you've got a Uni, you're getting a Uni. If you've got a 1 inch, you're getting a 1 inch. If you've got a NFT, same exact code pulls over. Now there's some exceptions here, right? So fake DeFi, things that have admin keys like stable coins, or maybe you could even consider NFTs. Depends on what you consider authoritative to whether you own an NFT or not. Is it that some guy's centralized server says you do, or is it that the blockchain says you do? So, you know, in the case of stable coins, you're not going to be able to redeem them for dollars, maybe unless they're algorithmic. But like, they're definitely going to have different parameters at launch. And then they've got admin keys so they can validate all the coins that they want. They might not do that because they probably wouldn't want all their users suing them for just jacking all their users' free money that they got. So who knows how that's going to play out. And so for real DeFi, really truly decentralized things like Hex, it's the same exact code. And, you know, there's no middlemen, there's no counterparty risk, there's no oracles, and there's no admin keys. It's beautiful and wonderful. And you're going to, I mean, never in the history of man have 10,000 new coins just been 10,000 new coins, and probably 10,000 new trading pairs are just issued into existence for free to everybody. And now the question is, how do you get people to back the value of these new coins so that you reduce the load in the Ethereum network to lower the Ethereum fees to make everyone happier, and have people participating on this network with higher throughput, lower fees, less destruction of the environment, basically no destruction of the environment? Well, you incentivize it. And so over $1 billion was raised for freedom of speech. And those people that sacrificed were given free Pulse Chain tokens. It also generated $27 million of real cash in the bank for a 501c3 registered charity that does medical research. And then PulseX also raised some billions. And PulseX is a Uniswap fork that does 22% of the fees get burnt. There's no inflation, only deflation. Same in Pulse Chain. In Pulse Chain, 25% of the fees get burnt. There's no inflation, only deflation. Hey, Bitcoin guys, you like the whole inflation goes down all the time thing? Well, you'll really love the no inflation, the coins burn thing even more, if that's your model of what creates value and appreciation. So 22% of the fees get burned in PulseX, deflation only, no inflation. 25% of the fees get burned Pulse Chain, no inflation, only deflation. World's largest free airdrop, better designed than Ethereum and Ethereum 2.0, uses primarily Ethereum code. You know, the majority of the code that had to be written was getting the system states to match up and to change the proof of work, the validation and the slashing and the, you know, those components. So what do we got? We got Hex.com, world's first time deposit, did over 1 million% returns in 623 days, 100% perfect flawless operation. It was given away for free to Bitcoiners. And to tell you how many free coins they got, those coins that they received for free today, after a 60% drop, are worth $500 million. That's how big the scale is that we're talking. So Pulse Chain and Pulse X both generated excess of billions of dollars of sacrifices. Hex.com gave $500 million worth of free Hex to Bitcoin holders exclusively. And, you know, for fun, I bought the world's biggest diamond. So I've got a 555.55 carat diamond. It used to be called the Enigma. Now it's called the Hex.com Space Diamond. And it matches up with the maximum stake length that you can have in Hex, which is 5,555 days. And so a lot of people will get tattoos on their body of 5555, call it the Quattro Cinco Club. And I don't know, I've got like $7 million of watches now and a few Ferraris, a couple Ferraris. One of them's 1,000 horsepower. So just flexing because people care about this stuff. You know, maybe you like $40,000 Louis Vuitton airplane bags, whatever you like. We have it here for you guys. You like uptime, you like decentralization, you like faster, cheaper, world's largest airdrop. We got it all. And then if you like free self-help books, you know, I got 200,000 followers on Twitter, twitter.com/RichardHartWin. I called the Bitcoin top on the day 11 months ago. Who else called the top on the day? Nobody. I called the top on the day, and it's been in profit every single day except one. It's a little tiny day where it made a little Judas candle, got everybody long, a fake breakout, and then went straight down. Dropped 55% after that little fake out candle. What else? Yeah, call the tops in the day for free. Free YouTube, youtube.com/RichardHart, you name it. We're just living the dream out here. You know, we're doing everything better, and people are starting to figure it out. They're starting to go like, oh, wow, those guys are really killing it. If you guys got any questions, you know, feel free to ask.
Yeah, absolutely. We got some questions here in the audience. However, I wanted to open up, there's a couple of questions here. As an early Bitcoin adopter and maximalist, and now you have been critical against Bitcoin and Bitcoiners, what changed your perspective about Bitcoin and why?
Well, you just measure this stuff. It's very easy. So let's say you want to sell your cryptocurrency on an exchange, and you send the transaction, and then you're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting, and you're like, all right, well, how long do I have to wait? And then you go to the page that tells you how many confirmations you need on each chain. And the amount of time you have to wait for your Bitcoin to be sellable on the exchange is twice as long as the amount of time you have to wait for your Ethereum. And so simply, do you want to wait twice as long or not? And I personally have had to wait 6 hours for a single Bitcoin confirmation one time. What is this trash? I can't wait 6 hours for my faster electronic transaction to go through. And it wasn't even cheap. It was expensive. It's like 20 bucks, I think, to send the transaction. So when you have software that has a very pitiful roadmap, that hasn't made any real improvements in years, that has removed things off the roadmap, like we were supposed to get a block size increase, we didn't even get it, that, you know, it can't fund its own developers. You see developers leaving left and right, has had critical inflation bugs where anyone could have minted as many free Bitcoin as they wanted twice, and they did once in 2010, they had to roll the chain back. And then a Bitcoin Cash developer caught another one a couple years ago, responsibly just closed it instead of using it. You know, that's all garbage. It's slow. It has no roadmap. It has had critical failures. It has a long list of critical vulnerabilities. The code is spaghetti code. It has no audit. It has no modularity. It has no written spec. It takes 9 months to on-ramp a new Bitcoin developer because it is such spaghetti code. If you don't have 9 months of training at Chain Code Labs, you're going to blow up your first commit. It's not going to work right. You know, I just want more out of the life. I want more out of crypto. I want more privacy, more security, more throughput, more price performance. You know, my Rolexes have outperformed. This is $1 million Rolex. This has outperformed Bitcoin. This is a 300,000, 350. It's outperformed Bitcoin. Everything's outperformed Bitcoin. Tesla's outperformed Bitcoin. Meme coins, NFTs, everything's outperformed Bitcoin. So, like, are you in this to get rich? Are you in this to change the world? You want to talk about changing the world? How many VCs own Bitcoin, and how many VCs own Hex? Let me list you some guys that own some Bitcoin. Winklevi twins, Draper, Chamath Palihapitiya, probably pronounced his last name wrong. The government of El Salvador. These two hackers that hacked Bitfinex had $2 billion worth of Bitcoin not too long ago. I mean, the Mt. Gox trustee that can only sell it or give it to other people that may sell it, he's sitting on 140,000 coins, which is something like 3 billion. And you just go through the list and you're like, explain to me. You keep adding them all up, and you're like, yeah, like 10 or 15, and then Satoshi's holding 10%, and you're like 10 or 15 or 20% of this network is people that I'm not sure you think that they're the entrenched rich people class. So if you think you're like affecting political change in Bitcoin, you're not. Like, and if you think you're going to 1,000x your money in Bitcoin, you're not. But you can, and you know, in other things. So pulsechain.com, pulsex.com, hex.com. We're really out here giving people an opportunity to participate in superior networks for free. You know, when I got into Bitcoin, I got in for free. Now you can't get in. Can't get into Bitcoin for free anymore. You got to give your money to evil middlemen that aren't in the United States to hope that they send you your mining equipment on time so that you can start paying electricity bills. It's just gross. But if you want to mine Hex or mine Pulse Chain or you know, stake your Pulse X, you don't have to deal with any weird foreign company and hope that they send you your mining equipment and hope that the government doesn't outlaw it, which, by the way, a couple of weeks ago, the EU was just going to ban proof of work. They was going to ban it. And it was close vote. So, you know, now I spoke out against that because I think it's disgusting, but, you know, that's not my financial interest. My financial interest would be, yeah, look, Pulse Chain solves this. So nice guy I am to be honest.
So what is the Hex token and why is it better than Bitcoin?
Well, I mean, it depends on what you want. If you want pitiful price performance, Hex doesn't have that, but Bitcoin does. If you want inflation bugs, Bitcoin had that a couple times. Hex never has. If you want to pay middlemen and blow up the environment, Bitcoin's got that. Hex doesn't have that. If you want ATMs, Bitcoin does have that, but you're paying like a 10% premium. If you want the most liquidity, and instead of being liquidity and getting paid the bid-ask spread and getting paid the fees, you have to be hot in the biscuit to sell immediately and eat the liquidity on the other side of the order book. You're going to get better order execution in Bitcoin. So like if you're a guy that wants to buy $1 billion of crypto, you could buy $1 billion of Bitcoin and barely move the price. But if you were to buy $1 billion of Hex, oh my God, would the price go up? And that's a feature. So like, you know, but if you're buying something and you only want it to slide up 1%, then go buy the thing that has poor price performance, I guess. And then there's other things that are funny, like Bitcoin has the best brand awareness. Yeah, that means the most people already bought it. And guess what people that already bought can only do? Sell. The thing that doesn't already have everybody knowing about it is the thing that people haven't already bought, and therefore they might be able to buy it and move the price up. So as you become an advanced speculator, which I am, I'm the guy that calls the top of the day. No one else can do that. Like I brag about it because it's miraculous to be able to do it and do it for free for people. You know, it's a buy the rumor, sell the news event. People don't get it. So, you know, I have to educate them. I have to re-educate these people because they don't understand things properly. They say, oh, inflation bad. You're like, really? Then why did the Bitcoin price go up the most when the inflation was the highest? Windows shutting down, gray face, NPC, JPEG. Like, you know,
so I wanted to open up another question here. Is that okay?
Yeah, please.
Because you were talking about the Ethereum blockchain and you were building the Hex token at the time. And of course, I don't think you could foresee there was going to be all these big gas fees and gas.
Well, no, I knew that it could be a possibility, which is why I said if it ever started to suck, I'd fork the network. And then I just did what I said I would do.
So that goes into my other one. So some people at the beginning of Hex, some people have criticized you about designing an OA that holds most of the supply of Hex tokens.
Yep.
What is the function of the OA?
Well, it's really simple. Every single profitable endeavor in the history of man has had extremely centralized ownership, period. So in the United States, 1% of people own 50% of the stuff. In a football team, one guy calls the shots. In a family, very often one guy calls the shots. In governments, one guy has the nuke button. Comes down to one guy, extremely centralized. Facebook, majority of the voting shares, tons of the non-voting shares, Zuckerberg owns them. Elon Musk, 20% he owns. Every single ERC20, massively centralized ownership. Bitcoin itself, massively centralized ownership. 42% of all Bitcoin sits in 2,300 addresses and has for years. And that number has been getting worse over time, not better. The centralization in addresses that have over 1,000 coins in them just keeps going up. So if you if you're noob, as most people in crypto are, compared to me anyway, you think that decentralization is the best. Let me prove for you that that's not true. How's the Amazon stock price? Amazing. And what has Amazon done? Total vertical integration. They own the servers. They write the server software. They own the shipping hubs. They have their own product lines. They have their own billing. Total vertical integration for cost efficiency. Now, what's the opposite of vertical integration? Decentralization. And so because blockchains are decentralized, you have the most expensive writes to the database, the lowest throughput. They suck so bad, you can't ask them to wake you up in the morning. That's how poor the blockchain is. It can't even wake you up in the morning. You have pitiful amounts of computation. Most people's cell phones can outperform the entire network's computational ability. But we're willing to incur all of that horror and all that suck to have censorship resistance. And so blockchains are only as useful as they are censorship resistant. And so people confuse this because they're noobs and they think, so censorship resistance and decentralization is useful in the network, and therefore it must be useful in the ownership structure. And you're like, no, actually go look at the charts. The more centralized things do better on the price performance. And what you would consider to be the most decentralized thing, which would be Bitcoin, gets murdered by everything. Like from the COVID dip, Ethereum went up 3 times as high as Bitcoin did. Bitcoin did an 18x and Ethereum did like a 50x. And Hex did like hundreds and thousands of X's. And when you have an S curve of adoption, people think that they're early buying into Bitcoin after the world's richest guy already bought, after a nation state already made it legal and bought, after it's on the world's largest market, the CFTC futures market, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. You're not early in Bitcoin. It's 13 years old, guys. And that's the reason the price chart is falling over, and you've been down for 11 months now. The price is down for 11 and a half months now because you're at the top of an S curve. Now, will the price make new all-time highs? Yes. Will it get outperformed by almost everything else in crypto? Yeah, pretty much. Particularly things that have product market fit. There's a lot of scams out there. If you buy a scam and you hold it for longer, you're still sitting at zero and you lose all your money or get rug pulled. But if you buy a real innovative product that has product market fit, it has a walled garden, it has a vibrant, enthusiastic, you could even say zealotous community, you're very likely to have good price performance. I mean, the best time you could ever buy Bitcoin was Satoshi owned all the coins. The best time you could ever buy Bitcoin was no liquidity and there was only on one exchange. When everything sucked the most was the best time to buy Bitcoin or Facebook or Amazon or basically any of these things. But people get it backwards. They're like, oh, Bitcoin's more popular. Yeah, so now you'll make less gains. Good job. Learn how to speculate, you know?
So my next question, what is Pulse Chain and why are you giving people a free copy of the ERC20 tokens?
Well, for me to save hexagons from high gas fees, because the code is immutable and can't be changed, and it's already extremely gas optimized anyway. It's got bitwise shifts, bit packing, caching built into it. The only thing you could do is give people a new free version on a new superior network. And that's also the way that McDonald's scales. So did they try and build a bigger and bigger and bigger McDonald's? No, they just build more of them. Did they try and build a bigger and bigger and bigger gas station? No, they just build more of them. Horizontal dumb scaling is how most effective things in the world are scaled. Schools, do they try and build a bigger and bigger and bigger school? No, they build more schools. So, you know, it's obviously the right solution. And I'm very happy and very lucky that so many other people missed the idea that you could have the world's largest airdrop, because the overhead is very similar. You know, the overhead of launching a new network and choosing to launch a new network with the existing system state, they're kind of similar. And so why wouldn't you give everyone the largest free airdrop in the world and prevent them from having to use bridges and be able to deload the network, which is overloaded on Ethereum? Like, it's just win, 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 win. Like it's beautiful. And the fact that, like, also as a liquidity provider, you know, as a liquidity provider, you want a lot of volume, but no price movement, because then you don't have impermanent loss. Or I guess if, you know, you could say if both things raise in price, that's okay too. But when one thing raises in price versus the other thing, as a market maker, as a liquidity provider, you sell the thing that went up and you end up losing. But if you imagine bridging in your free or bridging in your ERC20s to the network and pairing them with the free PRC20 copies, now your impermanent loss, after the market figures out like a reasonable ratio, it's very likely to be less than like crypto versus dollar. It's very likely to be like these kind of things move because they're bonded by the liquidity in their pairs. It's called Hart's Law. If you want to Google it, I invented it. It's why all the prices in crypto go up and down at the same time. It's not because there's some genius like fund making that happen. It's actually a side effect of the liquidity in pairs between two different coins bonding their prices together. So if you can exchange one Bitcoin for one Ethereum and Bitcoin goes up versus the dollar, Ethereum also goes up versus the dollar because you can just swap your Ethereum for Bitcoin because there's liquidity in the trading pair. And then if one goes down, they both go down because now where you could have swapped it for something, now you can't swap it for something that was more valuable. So it's pretty, I liked that particular discovery of market analysis enough to stick my name on it. That's how happy I'm about it.
Okay, on me.
So we're going to open up for Q&A right now. If anybody has any questions, you can come up to the stage and ask Richard Hart. I think you know this guy right here.
Hi, Richard.
Hello there.
How's it going?
How's it going?
Richard, my question would be, what are the things which are missing before the actual fork, the actual launch?
Oh, well, I mean, the automated market maker price fixer bot that tries to repair all the market caps to make up for the 1.2x dilution of the Ethereum guys, that currently runs against like V2 things and V2 forks on Uniswap. So for instance, Uniswap itself, version 2, and Sushi Swap. It would be nice if it ran against V3. So I kind of like to see it run against V3 before mainnet. If it doesn't, fine. Some ARB guys will just make some free money. But if you don't have to give the ARB guys free money, then, or extra free money, then it would be nice to see the the AMM price fixer bot repair the V3 prices as well. And the sacrifice balances still aren't where I want them to be. When you have 150,000 sacrifices from 150,000 unique addresses that you want to give free credit, you really want that free credit to be right. And a lot of people are stupid and sacrifice things they shouldn't. And then it's harder to track these illiquid things because now you're trying to they created by trying to be nice to people and give them credit for stuff that they shouldn't get credit for. It's kind of making the sacrifice totals 10 times harder, literally. So basically sacrifice totals, AMM bot are the two things that are, if we knock them out of the way, we pretty much can go to mainnet. There's some other internal things that, are too computer techy to really mention, but AMM bot and sacrifice balances are like basically where we're at. We've run out of other stuff to do, right? Like bridge is done, tested out the yin yang. Staking is done in the Pulse chain side, tested out the yin yang. Pulse X, the buy and burn function people can run and get a bounty, like all that stuff's been tested out the yin yang. We're just running out of things to finish. So basically it's just AMM bot and SAC totals.
Cool, thanks, Richard. My next question would be, there is rumors of you building a better version of a wallet as well. Is that like...
Yeah, I'm hiring devs to build a wallet, true. But they're not really hired yet, so let's wait until they are, But we'll almost be at full vertical integration. So we've got value storage with Hex. We've got consensus network with Pulse Chain. We've got trading with Pulse X. The only thing we're missing is fiat on ramp and wallet. So we almost have like the whole stack, pretty much. We're almost there.
All right, Richard. And my last question to you would be, for somebody who missed the Pulse sacrifice phase and the Pulse X sacrifice phase, what could a new crypto investor do right now?
Well, I mean, if you think Hex might have a lot of value because there's so many hexagons that it's likely to be one of the most liquid things, I would assume, on the new chain. Doubling your Hex by getting a free copy of it on the new chain seems cool. I'm not sure what the rates look like, but there's that Easter egg that you still can sacrifice, but the ticker keeps running behind the scenes. I'm not sure what that rate would be. On Pulse Chain, it's a terrible idea. Definitely don't Pulse Chain sacrifice. Maybe in Pulse X it's not as bad, but I don't know the math. What else? Pulse Chain, Pulse X, Hex. There's another token as well. There's a incentive token that is given to liquidity providers to give them an even larger incentive to bridge in their ERC20s and pair them with their PRC20s to back the value of the PRC20s. So there's 5 basic tokens, right? So you're going to have Ethereum on Pulse, Ethereum on Hex. I'm sorry, you're going to have Hex on Pulse, you're going to have Hex on Ethereum, you're going to have the incentive token, you're going to have Pulse X and Pulse Chain. 5 tokens there, you know. Don't get wrecked is my best advice. Don't start, like, I'm not a lot of people love these JPEGs. I don't know, guys. I mean, CryptoKitties came out in 2017, crashed the Ethereum network, and these JPEGs are the reason why Ethereum is so loaded up right now, because people only use Ethereum to do 2 things: trade, which is part of what's awesome about Pulse Chain, is that we got the ticker symbols and we got the code, and all people care about is trading anyway. So there you go. And with the NFT stuff, you know, NFTs and trading are the majority of the gas users on the Ethereum network, probably like 80%. And so by taking the trading off of the Ethereum network and putting it on Pulse Chain, you're going to get a lot cheaper gas fees on Ethereum. It's going to be a lot easier to on-ramp users. They're not going to have to pay a $50 penalty to buy in, you know, and gas fees. It's just, it makes everything better for everybody. So there's a lot of Ethereum killers out there. I don't think Pulse Chain is an Ethereum killer. I think it's an Ethereum helper. We'll see.
Richard, we got another question here.
Yeah.
Hi, Richard. My name is Agnes Luchinsky. I'm a longtime friend of Team Money here.
Nice.
I am very new to.
Stream dropped right there. I heard I'm very new too, and then the stream got blown out. You're back. Okay, I hear you again. I heard you're very new, and then start over from I'm very new.
Okay, so I'm very.
Dropped again. No.
And stream drop.
It's back again.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
You can hear
time's
me.
a charm.
Okay. 333. So leave her in that. So anyways, what I wanted to say, I'm very new. I'm learning a lot of things, but this is the mistake I made. And I just want to warn everyone about scams, because I was tagging you, but there's 30 Richard Hart's officials out there. So I just want to let everyone know that it's Richard. What is your official Instagram? Because there's so many scams, and that's why I'm saying.
One of the best ways to catch the scammers is that I don't follow anyone on Instagram, but usually the scammers follow a bunch of people to try and establish that they're the real one, or whatever. So the official Instagram for me is Richard Hart Official, and you're going to find copy scam versions of me on every platform. So I'm Richard Hart on Telegram. I'm Richard Hart Win on Twitter. I'm Richard Hart Official on Instagram. I don't really mess around on any other platforms. I guess I'm Richard Hart on YouTube. But you're going to find imposters with my profile picture and weird little name change, a couple letters here and there, trying to scam you constantly. So if you're direct messaging me, you're probably not actually direct messaging me. You're probably talking to a scammer. And if anyone ever messages you on any platform, they're trying to scam you, particularly if they have admin in the name, particularly if it's a pretty girl. You know, like the amount of scams that happen in crypto and in the world at large is just insane.
And that was the case. So I just want to let everyone know that I did get scammed that way. So yes, you have zero.
It's not just me; it's everybody. You're going to get fake Metallics. You're going to get fake Charles. You're going to get fake everything.
Absolutely. So I just want to make sure that everyone is following the correct Richard Hart, who has zero, who is following 0 people. That's it. And I want to say thank you, because I really appreciate what you're doing for.
My pleasure.
And everything. I fully support it, so I want to say thank you. It's nice
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Anybody else?
Hey, I'm Cornburn with Kitty Cat Coin. Hey, so we actually had 2 cars in NASCAR at Daytona, and we got to
nice
race with your car and JJ. I wanted to know, are you guys planning to have further races down the road, whether it's in Indy or NASCAR or American Motorsport?
So, I mean, we just had a TX2K 22 3,500 horsepower Lamborghini Evo win the mile-long races over in Texas, and it ran a 233.5, I think. He had a different boost setting where he could have run a 245. So he's doing his own thing. You know, it's all decentralized. So, you know, people have passions. They get really wealthy with products that I build, and then they have passions and they want to do their passions. So there's guys that like car racing, so they do car racing stuff. Now, me personally, I like direct response ads where people can actually click the ads. You know, I see a lot of these mass media ads, and then I watch it how many like clicks go on the site, and there's no extra clicks, and you're like, hey, it's like it never happened. So, you know, for general brand hope that someone pulls their phone out and types it, I don't like those ads personally. But they look cool. If you do it once, you get a cool JPEG for the site. That's nice. But if you keep doing them, I don't think they work at all. I think any kind of direct marketing would be superior, in my opinion.
Right, right.
So the answer is I don't know if they're going to keep doing them or not. I personally wouldn't do them, but these guys are just passionate about it, and they like to do stuff they're passionate about.
Right. So we're building out like an esports platform, and we're going to have like multiple leagues, you know, different racing simulator games. So are you guys planning on doing anything in esports?
I mean, I used to be addicted to games for over a decade. I've got like 25,000 hours in some games. And I don't really see what the blockchain brings to esports, because the only thing blockchains are useful for is censorship resistance. And the primary place you use censorship resistance is in communication and in like currencies. And then the question is like, none of these systems really has enough throughput to be able to put any popular games currency on them at all anyway. So like you couldn't put Clash of Clans on a blockchain. It would just destroy it. You'd have to like remove the censorship resistance part to have enough throughput. And so for me, like a lot of these like meme narrative pitches, they're just kind of like duct taping a token onto something where the blockchain doesn't really fit usually, in my opinion. So, you know, the hard, like for instance, video games, the hard part of building a video game is the building of the video game. It's not the, oh, people want to be able to sell their hats off TFT2, Team Fortress 2, or, oh, they want to be able to sell their guns off CSGO. Those markets already exist, and the people that own those markets are not going to plug and play with other brands to have their leadership leached away from them. Like their TFT2 is not going to launch on anybody else's platform to make less money, and CSGO is not going to launch on anybody else's platform to make less money. Like it's just, I mean, not to poop on your business or whatever, but like it's kind of like duct tape on token stuff.
You had a question too.
Hi, Richard.
Hey.
Kind of new on the cryptocurrency. I've been learning the past few months, but I want to ask you why we didn't hear about Pulse Chain before.
Oh yeah, because cryptocurrency is trash. Like it's all gatekeepers and trash. So let me give an example. Let's take coin ranking sites. How do coin ranking sites make money? By selling ads. Who do they sell ads to? People that victimize you. Well, who specifically? Margin trading exchanges. So to give an example, there's a website called eToro.com. Margin trading exchange has ads everywhere. You look at the top of the website and it says 67% of people lose money with us. And that's misleading, because I guarantee you that the number of people that lose money, the amount that they lose is larger than the number of people that won money. And that it's net negative for all the participants, except for the middleman. The middleman gets very rich. Those guys can buy ads wherever they want because they got a little pass from the government. They got a little license that says, hey, you can go victimize people. I think that's disgusting. And so what you find is you find collusion between advertising networks, coin ranking sites, and the media to hide projects that don't victimize the users, because then they can't get paid fees and revenue and all these things. So, you know, on the front page of CoinMarketCap, you've seen numerous rug pull, exit scam, goes to zero, exploited trash that has done massive harm to the industry. And you only rarely see Hex on the front page with perfect, flawless 10,000x, 100% uptime, 10,000x price, 100% uptime. You rarely see that on the front page of CoinMarketCap. It's so silly that Hexagon had to file a class action lawsuit against them because they're lying about what the market cap is, and they're lying about the rank, and it's harming users, and it's disgusting. And you don't just see it at CMC, you see it at CoinGecko as well. And so these people are not ethical, they're not moral, they do not have the best interest of the users at heart. It is a very corrupt system. And as loud as I yell and scream, and I've got a pretty good audience, you know, 200,000 on Twitter is pretty good in this industry. You know, as large as I yell and scream, I still can't reach everybody. You know, everyone gets interested in their little vertical. Some people like the monkey pictures. Some people like, you know, degenerate margin trading, and it's hard to reach everybody. So.
Okay. Hello, Mr. Richard Hart. My name is Blue Bum. I'm on the Hex Late Show on Discord Syndicate with the Aussie Hex streamers. We've probably been, thank you. Yeah, we've been probably one of the longest constant streams. So I've been in Hex for quite a while. When I first learned about Hex, I was like, oh, done. He's done it. He solved it. That's it. This is the solution. It's going to be simple now. Everyone just gets really, really rich. All of that money just gets filtered out to regular people. People start solving their problems locally, and it's done and dusted. But it's turned out to be this incredible roller coaster of a ride, an adventure, an unfolding adventure with so many twists and turns.
Yep.
We're now at a stage where you're about to launch a whole new chain. There's all sorts of projects coming onto it. The world has gone absolutely batshit crazy. It looks like we have, Russia and India, and China, and probably Brazil and South Africa. Probably those BRICS countries are going to have their own financial system. We've got Western leaders who are just utter morons. Who just don't
It's
know
a very long question.
Yeah,
it's the longest question ever.
Well, my question is, how do you see all this playing out over the next decade?
Well, I mean, we're participating in the highest performing asset class in the world, and it is getting more regulatory certainty in the United States and in certain countries like El Salvador, maybe Panama, maybe Guatemala, smaller countries to start out with. The price performance is probably the most important part for most people, and that's still doing very well. If we can get the regulators to stop harming their citizens by, for instance, China just made mining illegal. The EU just passed some gross law about reporting. And it's just technology doesn't solve politics. And at some point, all these very wealthy crypto people are going to have to play politics to get the government power structures to do better things. So it's unfortunate because it's time consuming and has a lot of overhead, but they have the power and they very often use it to make the world a worse place with net negative decisions that harm everyone. So for instance, if you like law enforcement, you want law enforcement to be able to do a good job, what law enforcement does is looks for needles in haystacks. And so what does regulatory do? They give them more hay and they make it harder to find actual suspicious things because they declare everything as suspicious. And it's terrible. And what they need to do is hire more investigators and file more injunctions and have more court cases and do more discovery. Those things actually work and prevent crime, stop crime, put criminals away. But this pretending that everyone is preemptively a criminal and violating everyone's privacy is how you create huge honeypots. So, the Department of Defense lost a huge amount of data to a hack. Equifax lost a huge amount of data to a hack. You're going to see all of these giant centralized pools of data get hacked and abused over and over and over again. And the only real way to protect the citizens is to not have the data in the first place. And so it disgusts me that these nations have rights clearly defined for the privacy of the citizens. The Fourth Amendment in the United States, the United Nations Charter, individual states, you name it. They all say privacy is a human right and it should be protected. And then every single thing they do removes that. And you're like, guys, you realize you're violating the very principles on which the body that gave you power was founded. You're violating the principles by which you accepted the office. You're violating the Constitution. We have a right to privacy. Stop violating it. Privacy means you don't know about it. Just I do. Just maybe the person I'm talking to. You, government, you don't get to know about it. But the government just doesn't understand that. They think everything's better when they have more power. And then they don't look at how that works out. How that works out is, what type of government has the most power? A totalitarian government. And how does that work out? We've seen a lot of sanctions recently. Maybe it works out like that. These people need to be helped to stop hurting themselves. And politics is kind of unavoidable, unfortunately.
Yeah, I personally see us building around them. And as the economic energy moves into real people's hands, then that's how we build around them rather than taking over those structures. But I've just got a couple of other questions. One is, I tried to tee up an interview with you in Nomad Capitalist. you guys were talking and all that kind of stuff. They tweeted out
Sounds
what
good.
questions should have. Did it ever happen, or?
I can't remember. I'd have to Google the guy's face. Let me look. Yeah, I talked to this guy. Yeah, that did happen. I talked to this guy. Yeah. As you can tell, I don't watch his content, so I didn't remember who it was. But I have talked to that guy with that face that I just Googled.
Okay, so he's just not the lazy yet, I guess. And one final question. I'm early on, but very, very excited about Hedron. I was wondering, at the conference, I think you said you hadn't looked into the incentives.
Claiming and minting looks fine. I didn't personally review the other functions, but like I'm very, very weary and avoid promoting other ticker symbols than the ones that I invented. So, you know, people have minted it, people have claimed it, people sold it. I haven't heard about anyone having any problems, but it's not my product. You know what I mean? And so if someone else builds a product, price goes up, cool. Price goes down, cool. I don't want it to bother my life. You know what I mean? So check it out. I mean, it's free. If you're a Hexagon and you've got stakes, it's free. I don't.
Yeah.
Free stuff.
Okay, there's a lot. Thanks to you. Thanks for your answers.
My pleasure, man.
We got another question.
Thank you very much, Tom. Richard, how are you?
Doing good.
Thank you very much for creating Hex. Like many of us here, it's actually changed our lives, you know?
Nice.
For the better. And I think that it's something that I've promoted here in Miami. Mine is Hex_Miami on Instagram. And I just want to give that financial freedom just like you've been talking about. I know we're almost neighbors, so.
Saving lives, man.
But,
putting people in charge of their futures.
Yeah, so absolutely, thank you very much for creating it. And obviously, I've been following the other programs and coins. Just question was, I noticed this past week, I've seen a couple of spikes on Hex. Have you noticed them? I've seen them almost like up to like $1 or so, or maybe $5.
Oh, the spikes, yeah. Like basically most of the charts. I think a lot of those spikes are people that are not setting their slippage limits properly in Uniswap. So if you use 1inch or Uniswap or Matcha.xyz, there's a slippage limit that you can set. And if you don't set it, then someone can sandwich you, buy right before you, let your order execute at a way higher price than it needed to, and then sell right after you. And they just make free money. And so these spikes that you see are usually people getting sandwich attacked because they haven't set their slippage limit properly. But you might have seen, like, I think maybe that spike up to 20 cents might not have been a sandwich bot. Like you have to dig in and look at each transaction, right? But like this is just all normal for Hex, right? When on the road to 1,000,000% returns in 2 years, I think the price dropped like 60%, like 5, 6, 7 times, something like that. Like it's just volatility is the price you pay for the world's best performing asset. So it's in the game, you know? And by the way, if you use limit orders, none of this affects you. You just get to be the liquidity. You get executed at the price you want, and there's no slippage. So.
Okay, so that would be using Uniswap, right?
Well, I mean, you could emulate limit orders by adding single-sided liquidity and then removing it after you get filled, but you have to manually watch it and remove it after you're filled, or it will unfill, and you'll make the fee twice, both directions. But if you use a different limit order, like on 1inch or Matcha.xyz, then it just fills and that's it. But you better be careful when you enter that number. If you enter the wrong number, you'll be very unhappy. Because I've heard stories of people that like entered the wrong number and it just filled them at a very bad price. So be careful what number you enter if you're going to use those systems. Absolutely. The limit order ones.
How do you see the performance? I personally feel that Pulse Chain and Pulse X is going to even outperform what Hex has done. How do you see
the chat room has? The chat room's outperformed Hex's chat room by 2 to 1, probably. Number of users and the amount of time. And it's an easier sales pitch. People understand faster, cheaper, largest free airdrop Ethereum doesn't blow up the environment. They get that very easy. Hex is too out of this world for them. It's too complicated for them. They don't get it. They don't understand it's a proof of work change to proof of weight instead of proof of work. It uses proof of weight for issuing inflation. It uses proof of work for logging the inflation. They don't get that. It's too hard for them to understand. So Pulse is just an easier pitch.
Perfect.
Coin burning and no inflation is an easier pitch than very low inflation.
Performing, I guess, in the next year within Pulse Chain coming out, do you see the trading of Pulse Chain, or kind of following all three, Pulse X, Pulse Chain, and Hex, basically going on the upward trend at the same time?
I have no idea which one's going to outperform the other, and I don't think anyone could know. Good luck. I mean, they're all really well designed, and they're all known effective, known successful tactics. We know airdrops work. We know Ethereum works. We know EVM works. We know coin burning works. We know automated market making works. Like, these are all extremely effective systems. So good luck pitching which one's going to outrun the other. It's hard because I don't know.
Hi, Richard. How's it going? But I want to thank you so much for doing this stream, and I also want to thank the team on here, Freedom, to be invited the Crypto Stylist team to represent Hex, the Hex community here at the conference. And now I want to go to the question, Richard. It is so easy to onboard people here at the conference because they love their free copy on the Pulse chain. But we are rarely talking about Pulse X, and Pulse X will be the biggest exchange on Pulse chain. So maybe can you talk about why it's so important that Pulse X will be the biggest liquidity exchange?
Yeah.
How do you do it?
So Pulse X at the very first transaction on the network goes and harvests all the other exchanges that it can access, like Uniswap V2, SushiSwap, hopefully Uniswap V3, maybe Banker, maybe 0x, we'll see. And it basically buys up all the artificially cheap PRC20s, buys their prices up by minting in between 2 and 5% of the total supply in order to do it. Probably closer to 2 1/4 is my guess. This is a guess. And then it puts those into the Pulse X exchange so that it is the most liquid exchange. Then you don't have to worry as much about ARB bots because there's not as much price difference because all the economic energy is closer in a single trading thing. And then it also has 22% of the fees getting burnt. And it has a lower fee than Uniswap. It's 0.29% instead of 0.30. What else? And it gives you an extra incentive token to be a yield, a liquidity provider, earning yield and earning this extra token as well. And so it's more efficient from a market perspective because it centralizes liquidity. It also protects the value of the Pulse Chain brand because, oh, let's say you don't like me, you don't like Pulse Chain, you don't like something, and you want to remove your coins and remove your liquidity. I got bad news for you. It's already been removed. You can't. So you can't stop the game from being played. So you take a system like Chainlink, right? They run oracles or whatever. Whether the Chainlink guys want to actually use Pulse Chain or not, or issue oracles on it or not, don't really care that much, to tell you the truth, because we got the ticker, we got the logo, and the prices are going to be bonded by the liquidity. And so if you, as a person that wants to trade, you could trade the link ticker on Ethereum and pay $50 to buy and $50 to sell because of gas fees. And the price is probably less volatile because it's probably a more liquid market. Or you could trade on a less liquid market that has more profit potential because there is more volatility, and you've got not $50 in, not $50 out. It's just a very compelling use case. It's super compelling. So it adds longevity to the ecosystem. It creates capital efficiency, and I think the value of all the Pulse chain in the beginning, before you get direct listings, is going to be in people bridging stable coin value and ERC20 value in and pairing it with its PRC20 copies. So in the beginning, I think the majority of value is going to accrue through bridges. So, and then having Pulse X be able to reward people in addition, not only just the fees of pairing their free PRC20s with their ERC20s, which, by the way, when have you got the other side of the pair for free? I don't think I've ever seen that before in my life, where as a liquidity provider, you get to play with the other side for free. And there's probably less volatility because they're so similar to each other. So it's like, I think it's awesome. It's one of the killer features. So being able to on-ramp users with a single button click in MetaMask, awesome. And being able to back the value of the PRC20s with bridging ERC20s in a yield farming program is just awesome. Like, they really well-designed systems.
Richard, I have a follow-up question from the Hex community directly, because you have seen the sacrifice rate for PulseX was so great, so many people sacrificed, but Pulse a little bit less. So this brings us to the following problem. A lot of people sacrifice for PulseX, but they do not have Pulse chain yet. So the question from the Hex community will be, Richard, what is your opinion? What would be a good ratio to hold on Pulse chain and Pulse coin?
Well, I mean, I really don't know, but I'll try and throw guesses at you. So, I mean, if you looked at the sacrifice balances during the ranked sacrifice phase, and you compared their like net US dollar kind of sacrifice equivalents, and then divided it by the supply, I think you could end up with like a ratio from that perspective to have as like a starting ratio, but the starting ratio doesn't last very long. What really is going to set the ratio of pulse to PulseX is people actually trading it. And so you're going to be able to, before the bridge is open, you're going to be able to open Pulse. You're going to be able to trade Pulse versus PulseX. And you can see this on the testnet right now. Like, you can go trade your testnet Pulse versus your testnet PulseX right now on testnet and experiment it and get ready for it. So, you know, I don't know what the market's going to set the ratios at. And my guess for what like a reasonable starting ratio would be just kind of like the sacrifice values or whatever, you know, but it's just pulled out of my butt. Like, it just seems like an okay ratio, because where else would you set it? I don't know, you know?
Thank you, Richard. I will give it to Tim.
My pleasure.
Hello, Richard. How you doing? My name is Carlos. I just learned about Hex today. I'm very excited. My question has to do as a business owner. What are some of the ways that I can do to integrate this to my community and to my
well, it's an interesting question. I have a unique perspective on this. I love that it's hard to spend Hex. I'm glad you can't buy Rolexes with Hex, because if you could, there's probably some Hexkins that would hurt the Hex price to go buy watches, which is as nice as they are, they're not going to appreciate long term as much, in my opinion. So, you know, or at least they haven't. I mean, Rolexes didn't go up 1,000,000%. Hex did. So I like it when people can't use the things I invent to actually buy stuff, because it introduces extra sell pressure, in my opinion. Now, there are some exceptions to that. If you had something that generated excess purchasing pressure and holding pressure because it was accepted, then that would be an exception. But I think a great example of showing you how powerful not being able to actually use the stuff as cash. You can't use Bitcoin many places. Price went up 690 million%. Seemed to have worked out okay. So, you know, another thing is the velocity of money is indirectly proportional to the value of the money. And so if you can accept it more places, it increases the velocity. And if the economic math, which is considered to be true, is true, then it reduces value. So if whatever you're doing causes the people to buy and hold, that's extremely valuable. If what you're doing causes people to just sell, it's not valuable. And so that's the rubric by which I would really decide whether it would be helpful to the community to integrate accepting that into your business or not. It might be, you know, it might work out. It really matters whether it's more net buying or not, you know. If you're advertising to people that have never seen Hex before, it's probably net buying. If you're advertising it to Hexagons, it's probably net selling.
In terms of educating, I run a youth baseball league, and a lot of my players, you know, they're starting to know about it and learn about crypto and talking about it. In terms of educating them and making it accessible, what are some of the ways that I can do to, you know?
I mean, to tell you the truth, it's like, what is crypto? It's a big Excel spreadsheet that lives on the internet and inflates about 2% a year to keep it honest. In my new Pulse chain system, it doesn't inflate at all. And then if you buy it and the price goes up, you get rich. If you buy it and the price goes down, you lose money. And then like, what else is there? Don't give away your seed words to anybody. Okay. And then that's really like it. Like you could pretend that you're learning a lot, or you could actually even learn a lot. And then in reality, what did you really achieve? Right? Like you still can't write your own code. You're still using the same wallet. You're still buying and selling on the same exchange. Like you really didn't, the parameters which affect your profit as a speculator, they don't really change with how much you know about the network or how much you know about blockchains and latency. And, like you buy it, you hold it, you hope it goes up. Don't buy scams. Don't get scammed. Don't give away your seed words. These are the parts that actually matter. These are the parts that affect your bottom line, and everything else is just kind of like, it's like photography. Most photographers take bad pictures, and then you're like, but they know all about the gear. They know how many megapixels, they know how many stops of light absorption. They know all their focal ratios, but they don't know about framing, and they don't know about lighting. And then those are the things that matter more. Like composition and lighting matter more than your hardware. And a good photographer will do better with a cell phone camera than a bad photographer will do with a $10,000 Sony A1. So, blockchain is kind of similar. It's like, you know more about the mechanics underneath. Great. Did you buy earlier at a better price? No, they're unrelated, So
we got
I hope that answers you.
Oh, yeah.
Nice hat.
Being part of the Mexican community, my brother and I, we're really, for this next event that's coming to Vegas in September 6th to the 9th, what do we need to do to bring you out to Vegas as a Mexican?
I'm not going. I would rather build stuff, bro. I hate traveling. I hate it. The reason you see me doing the same stream forever on the same chair is because it's efficient. When I travel, my productivity gets wrecked. It sucks a lot. So I want to change the world. I want to make everything better. And I would much rather use this amazing production quality with 8K camera if I stick a fan on it, 4K currently, even though I can only stream to you guys at 1080 for some reason because software limits. Like my production value is amazing. There's no real reason that you have to come and sniff me or whatever. Like I did that for several months last summer in Europe. Bought the Ferrari Roma, traveled to 15 different countries. I did it, and not in a rush to do it again, man. I want to work. I want to actually work. You get me virtually is what you're gonna get.
So one more thing, being a Mexican, I like to tip my hat.
Nice hat, bro.
For you, for the top hat. So all Mexicans, I would love if you guys start wearing it. Top hat for Richard Hardmore. Okay.
Especially in PulseCon. So
Miami's a great spot for a top hat, I bet. Sweating to death.
So we got one last question here.
All right.
Richard, I'm a really good chiller. And right now I have the RA, the Hex RA that I
nice.
Use because we have the next tour in a couple of months. So what we want to do with Sweden TV together is we want to auction out the RA to the Hex community. What do you think? Would you support it? Make a shout out to the Hex community to buy?
I would tweet it. If you want to sell your RA, I will tweet it for sure. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I mean, like Hexologist was showing off his stickers on his sport utility with this, Hex.com best performing asset 2020, 2021, whatever. And I tweeted that. Like if Hexicans do cool stuff, I like to tweet about it usually. I like your Hex wrapped R8. I think it looks cool.
Thanks. When you tweeted out the Hex workshop, it brought so much attention. So I hope we can do the same thing for you.
I hope you're able to 10x and 100x your attendees, because there's a lot of people attending crappier crap that they lose money on instead of make money. I hope you guys do well.
On the 1 million Pulse tour next year, talking about blockchain, we will have so many people because now we know what we are doing. We know exactly how it can work. And we will
good stuff. I appreciate you putting in the work. A German guy had to come to America to promote the things he appreciates. Americans learn.
And an Austrian too. He's yelling in Austrian too.
All right, everybody. That'll about do it for here. I am all ready to go. I have a function to go to. You can catch the rest of that video in the chat. I put it in there. Thanks to all of our panelists, Crypto Stylists, Hex Tangent. Appreciate you guys. Promise to have you back, Crypto Stylist. Of course, this is the stream that happened on.
No, it's an honor. It's an honor. It's like Vic christening.
Yes, but too cool to have you. And thank you, everybody. Again, the link is in the chat there for the rest of that video. I think they're pretty much done, but wanted to bring you as much as we can. I'm literally running out the door. So thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye, Tangent.
Bye. Bye, Tangent.